Hi guys, and welcome to my new tutorial. This time there was a request on my Patreon from a subscriber to redo an effect. So this is going to be a case of copycat tutorial. Here's the effect that was asked for. And he specifically asked also about this slow motion effect. And this is the 3 shots that we're gonna redo today. It's gonna be quite easy. Let me show you. As usual, a little promotion for my Patreon, and that's what allows me to keep doing free tutorials. And the teased tutorial about crumbling destruction has been done. It's, well, you can see the result by yourself, and also the newest addition to the Patreon is the ripple growth tutorial in both its mid and advanced versions. Advanced version with free kintsugi as a bonus. Just kidding, but it is about the advanced version. It is about finding the islands connection and making stuff with it, like making the particles behave like if two waves crash one on another. And also very small little bonus, like how to do a dense floor effect with very, very simple, like I believe just one modifier, and that's it. This said, well, you'll find the link for my Patreon in the description, but let's go back to the spline rings tutorial. Okay, so I must confess that I start trying to do this with Tyflow particles, but then I realized the more I watched the original video, the more it looked like it was just a displaced geometry. Of course, there were rings of what it looked like splines with a mesh on top, but they still looked like just a mesh with a ring selection and a displacement. And I said, why not do that? It's going to be so much easier than try to do rings of particles and then moving them and then getting them back. While we have, I know that Tyflow is mostly known for the particle system, and of course it's amazing, but it has also a lot of 3S Max modifiers that are as much as important as the particle system, and I'm gonna show you why. So this is my stack, and let's hide everything. And this is just, let's hide the speaker that I modeled with my amazing modeling skills. This is just a cylinder. And of course, it goes without saying, but yeah, I'm gonna try to keep everything as procedural as possible. So this is just a cylinder with a lot of cap segments. And then I use tie select to select the normals looking upwards and invert the selection and delete the mesh. And now I have only the top part of the cylinder. Of course, as I said, this is procedural, and this means that I can change the radius or change the number of segments, and it will still work. Back to the original values. I clear the selection with a mesh select, and then let's tie select the ring of vertices. I'm using a mesh because it's easier for me to just animate sphere radius, but you can use also the spherical gizmo in the tie select operator the effect is the same. It's just easier to me to go here and see the radius and change the radius. So I animated the radius of the sphere. Okay, it's growing, and I am selecting using the tie select, and let me disable this. It is selecting everything that's inside the mesh, as you can see. Selective if inside, and I am also adding a copy of this, so you can duplicate selected, and this is set to subtract. Let's enable it, and as you can see, well, if we subtract the same selection, we end up with nothing selected. But I am shrinking the selection by 2, and if I shrink more, the border is higher, and if I shrink less, of course, the border is thinner. Let's go back to -2. Then I have a tie select that inherits the stack selection and adds a soft selection to it. Okay. And I might rename this so the stack is easy to read if you have to give it to a colleague or something. And now the displacement is just a simple noise. There it is. It's a noise map, and I just fiddled with the size and the high and low values. And this is the result. But if we do check, I closed the window. Give me a second. So as you can see here, the sort of explosion, you can see that the tips of the displacement go towards the outside, right? And how to do this in our setup? With this, how much time since you use the taper modifier? But yeah, why not? Old modifier that does its job, and now everything points outside. Now I'm gonna use a push to make these parts a bit thicker. Clear the selection with a mesh select and relax without preserving the volume. So it's more similar, like it's less spiky and less thin as well. This is maybe, I don't know, you can 10 instead. And also you can go back. Let me show you the procedurality. You can go back here and make the original selection thicker. As you can see, the final result, this is the ring, and this is the tie selection. And you can also make this, I don't know, 6, for example. And this is the result. Okay. And so yeah, relax. And I'm not gonna turn on Tyflex, but please notice that this is the only values that I changed. If you know what, let me show you what Tyflex does. It does the same thing as the flex modifier. It is more simple. Flex modifier had more advanced controls, but it's way slower, and it just adds secondary motion to an object. So if I go here and create a cylinder, I don't need cap segment. 50 is good enough. Okay, and I'm gonna create a keyframe here, and then animated like 10 frames. Okay, so it moves like that. And if I add a Tyflex, and you can just tie select. Why am I seeing it doesn't have? Oh, height segment, sorry. Yeah, like this. And tie set, I don't know if I need that. Let me see. Yeah, I do need that. Tie select with a soft selection. And then the tie flex. Use vertex selection. Change the vertex selection to be like something like this. See, those are like a secondary movement. And in our example, I'm lost. Yeah, here it is. In our example, this will give secondaries to the inner circle. Let me try to turn it on. It's going to take some time to update. Not that much, but still. Okay. Can you see the bounciness in here? Here it's getting this bulge here that goes back and forth like a wave. Okay. And then what I did was using the tie cache modifier, which is an amazing addition since a few versions. It just allows me to cache the animation and then do not worry about my, I don't know, the render farm machines to not seeing the same thing and to not recalculate the animation. I can just turn it on, save in max file, save cache, and it's gonna cache everything. And after I did cache this, and then turn off everything except the tie cache. And as you can see, the animation is cached in my file. But again, the final result is made of splines. And this was a bit puzzling for me because I didn't knew how to select the rings. Okay, but turns out that tie select has this amazing everyNeth mode. Basically, what it does is there it is, everyNeth. If I go to 1, it selects everything. 2, only the rings, and 3, only the other rings. Okay, the loops. And yes, it's selecting also the hidden ones, but I don't need them because in my next modifier, which is tie mesh to splines, I'm gonna tell it to use only the visible edges and use the edge selection and to weld the knots, of course. And so this is how I can make everything procedural. Because even if I go back and change the number of cap segments, everything in here is procedural and is not gonna break my stack. And another thing to notice is I did add some addition and subtraction to the selection. Let me, this is a bit heavy to calculate, this modifier. I didn't, because the original test, let me show you. Disable selected and disable selected. The original, this tie select set to every net. This one selects also these edges. And I just use these to, yeah, that's it. So the first one selects this loop as well, this loop as well, and the second one is a smaller gizmo that subtracts all those rings, and so we have only this loop. Without those two, the inner loop, sorry, trying to disable selected and disable selected. Without these two, the inner loop wasn't selected, but the rings were. So here I'm selecting everything inside, so the loop and the rings, and here I am unselecting the rings, and that's it. That's all. The job is done. Then I can use the tie spline mesher, and I am meshing the splines with a radius of 0.1 and 12 sides. And this is the result you have seen at the beginning of the video. I just rendered it. I rendered it with V-Ray, but this file is set up with Arnold. Not very well because I don't know Arnold very well, but still it should render. Another thing to that this tutorial sparks from a request from a Patreon member, and he asks specifically about the slow motion effect that you can see in here, exactly here. Yeah. How to do that? Well, tie cache is amazing also for that, because in the timing, you can enable the cache retimer. And what I did was just, so the first frame is 1000 and then the last one is 1099, I believe. But I did add let me show you, an ease curve, which is my way to go for the slow motions, because then you can copy it and instance it. And for example, I believe that I did this in the camera animation as well. And so what it does, it allows us to so the first frame is keyframe 1000, and the last frame, instead of being 1099, now is the equivalent of 1050 and something. So here, as you can see, it goes in a linear way, and then here at this frame, it slows down. And you can see in the rendered video at the beginning that that's the way to do the slowdown, and it's extremely smooth. And from here, now it doesn't play real time in the viewport because it's a bit heavy to let's see, without the tie spline mesher. But even without the tie spline mesher, just the tie mesh splines. Yeah, now it's smoother in the viewport. You can literally see here. Let me, yeah. And that's how I did the slow motion effect. That's everything for this tutorial. Just a quick reminder, you will be able to find the file to download on my Patreon. You just can subscribe for free, and it's going to be available for free for the subscribers. Until next time, bye and enjoy this tutorial. Ciao!